Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cat Talk here on GreeneCountyHeraldOnline.com. I'm Russell Turner. I'm here with my friends Nick Chatham, athletic director here at Greene County High School, and head football coach Mike King. And Coach, it's a big week here at Greene County High School. Not only do we get to finally play some football, we get to play it against our rivals from down the road. Tell me about how things are going and how your team's reacting.
Absolutely. You know, we've talked to the guys all week about somebody's going to ring a bell on Friday night. It'll be either us or them, and when you're playing at home, it's kind of special that you know, we've been a part of one of those a few years back. We were able to capture the bell in our home field, so hopefully we can replicate that same thing. Feel pretty good about the fact that we've kind of been on a similar schedule as George County as far as some of the drawbacks and things that they've had to overcome. We've kind of mirrored them, so it seems to be a pretty even playing field when it comes to the preparation and the way we approach this.
Right. Well, that was going to be one of my questions, is that with all the interruptions that we've had with COVID and then the hurricane, and y'all can hear in the background, yeah, we've already got a lot of school spirit going on here today at the high school. You know, with all the interruptions you've had, that was something to concern yourself. How are your kids, how prepared do you think they are, both not only physically, but mentally ready to go out there and play?
You know, even before the season started, we had talked about a COVID playbook, or having a simplified approach to what we do offensively and defensively, so that if we were having to go through another quarantine, or not only that, but if you lose a player or two due to COVID, then we want to make sure that what we're doing is not overly complicated, so that they're able to comprehend and execute and not beat ourselves. So that's kind of been talked about for a while now.
Right. Good deal. Well, I know you've got a good group of young players coming back, and you got a few changes to your coaching staff. So talk to us about how those new pieces of the puzzle are fitting in with the ones that you've had for a while.
Probably the biggest thing right now is hiring a new defensive coordinator, right. Tim Jordan. He's been around a long time. Spent a large percentage of his coaching career in Alabama, over in Murphy High School, and he was able to come to Mississippi, come to us, and it's kind of like he's got this new sense of excitement, and he's brought some music to the weight room and some music to the practice field. So he's really aligned with us. That's kind of our theme, is be you, but align with us, right, with players and coaches. You be yourself, but align with us and pull the same direction we're pulling, and he's really been able to do that. And actually reunited with our defensive backs coach, Paul Jamil. They had some stint there together at Van Cleve. So there's some familiarity with him coming here to Greene County that it's unlikely that would happen like that, but a small world, I guess. So.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because Nick and I had a chance to talk to him on our last episode, and one of the things he talked about was his defensive backs. I think he's got some young kids back there that he's pretty excited about. What about you offensively? How do you feel about the skilled folks that you've got in place?
I feel pretty good. We have some young guys out on the perimeter in places that we're depending on. It's nerve-wracking early on, because that there will be some mistakes and things like that, but it's hopeful for the future, because you can correct those things. And that's probably the biggest thing now, is that we haven't had an actual game on right. film to be able to look at and go back and show those younger guys, hey, here's what we need to do differently or whatever. Although we had a scrimmage last Thursday night, we got an idea. But again, we've been super simple, and even the younger guys, a couple of those guys were here when I was here 2 years ago. So the verbiage and the terminology and the way we kind of do things, there's some familiarity there. So it wasn't like a brand new system, so to speak, right. coming back in. And I think that's helped them a good bit. So I feel pretty good about the skill guys.
Well, good. I know one of the places that you lost some folks was on the offensive line, but talking to Coach Dungan, he seems pretty happy with the group he's got in terms of what they can do and how they fit into your scheme.
Absolutely. We're more a bigger kind of come off the ball and run right at you style, I guess, a year or so ago, even 2 years ago. A lot of power, that sort of thing. And so we've decided to take a little bit different approach with some, I wouldn't call them undersized linemen compared right. to people we play, but they're undersized compared to those guys that graduated. Right. So we've implemented a little bit more pulling, more trapping, and I don't know, most guys I've talked to, they enjoy that style of football anyway. They want to get out there and run and do that sort of thing. So we've tried to cater to them a little bit with our scheme. So,
Well, good deal. One of the things that I've always appreciated about your teams and your offenses is the way that your guys that aren't carrying the ball are involved. Your wide receivers always seem to block well downfield. I know you emphasize that a lot, but you've got, kids like Cam Dunham that's, are a huge part of it. He'll be on with us in a few minutes. A huge part of it, but all of your wide receivers tend to do their jobs downfield, and I think for y'all to be successful, is that part of the,
right. When we call offensive plays, we always have an assignment for those guys on the perimeter where it's a fast screen or they're blocking someone, so they're always engaged. Coming through when I played, we were more pro-eye, and sometimes you get out there and you get, you're not involved in the game per se, and you get kind of disconnected from the flow of the game. So we feel like it's important to make sure that those guys are involved every play, and so they have a specific assignment, and they know that at any play that we could throw the ball out there to them. So it makes them alert, makes them kind of tune in and not daydream, fall asleep out there. And we talk to them about that. We've got plays that are designed to go to each of those guys. And one play the wideouts got to block for the slot player and vice versa. So we know that that's a big part of what we do.
Well, I know Nick deals with that a lot in baseball, and few opportunities that I've had to coach baseball, that was one of the things that I stressed, and Nick does as well. There's somewhere for you to be, and there's some responsibility every play. And watching baseball, I always like to watch what the outfielders are doing when it's not going to them. And I guess that's one of the reasons I noticed it when going back and watching film or watching it live. Your receivers are always downfield blocking, and that's a good thing. Nick, you got any questions you want to throw at Coach?
No, I just want to say everybody's excited about football getting started. You talked last week about when football's going well, everything goes well. There's nothing like the school on a Friday. There's just a different feel in the air, and the band walks through in the morning time, and the cheerleaders are behind them. It's a great feeling. So I know our players haven't got to play, and we talk about that a lot, but our entire school is excited about football season, so we're looking forward to it. And volleyball's kicked back off, and that's been a great thing. So we're just excited to have some activities here on campus, and want to encourage everybody to come out and watch tomorrow night. Hoping to have a great crowd, great atmosphere, and just a great time. So.
Well, I've been out at school a lot today, and there's just a different buzz. And part of that, I think you're right. The volleyball's playing tonight at Perry Central. Coach will be going over there to watch his daughter here pretty soon. And then football tomorrow night, and there's just a different feeling around. And I think it helps in everything, not only at school, but out in the community as well. When we come back, would you be willing to talk about a few specific players?
Absolutely.
All right,
Sounds good.
Deal. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute.
If you've suffered an injury and are seeking justice for that injury, you don't have to leave town to find a personal injury lawyer. You need to call Joe Beard with Beard & Stewart's Attorneys at Law. Hometown lawyers helping hometown folks. Give Joe a call at 601-394-5900. And remember, go Cats go! The mission of Greene County Farm Bureau is to provide you with unmatched customer service and attention. If you're looking for home, auto, or life insurance, you should definitely give Jared Lott or Tyler Bray a call to learn more about the full line of insurance and financial services they have available. It's easy to find out if you're getting the type of coverage you need at the best possible rates. Just drop by and see Jared or Tyler at 812 Main Street in Leakesville, or give them a call at 601-394-2801.
All right, folks, we're back. We've got Coach Mike King with us, and now we've got Senior Cam Dunham. And, Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit real quickly about some of your key players coming back. I know we can't talk about everyone, but obviously K.J. Miller coming back. I think he's gotten a lot of good publicity in the offseason and really put on quite a bit of a show in some of your 7-and-7. Talk about how he's developed and how he fits into your scheme.
Before when I was here in 19, he was a freshman who started most every game that year, and we were excited about his future, and he's developed. He's worked hard in the weight room. He's put on some muscle mass, and so he's developed a lot of his skills that we saw in him at a young age. So we're expecting big things out of him. Really explosive player, really versatile player. You can hand it to him, you can throw it to him. He blocks well, does what he's supposed to on the perimeter. Super intelligent. So a coach's dream, so he really does a good job at everything we ask him to do.
He's got good vision too. I've just been, I marvel at that when you see a young kid that has that kind of vision on the field and can see what's ahead of him and find those big open gaps. I know that your sophomore quarterback, Keenan is back. He's going to be, I think, your starter to
Right.
start the season with. And Jonathan Nicholson, I think, is going out to one of your wideouts.
That's correct.
And Dakota Kittrell, I believe, on the other side. So talk to me about how Jonathan's made that adjustment and how Keenan kind of rose to.
We let those guys battle it out in the summertime, and we felt like it could have gone either way. But with a couple of our skill guys having to move around to the defensive side of the ball and us probably leaning a little more heavily on the run game this year,
Right.
we felt like having a quarterback who we could call his number to let him run the football regularly, would suit us better. A couple of our guys that play receiver, we've got into defensive secondary, and because we don't want any weaknesses on either side of the ball. So it was kind of like, okay, we'll give and take a little bit there, and so we've had to kind of gear the offense a little bit more toward the run game, but also sprint outs, bootlegs, and things like that, and get him on the move. And Jonathan's been awesome out at receiver. He's been getting behind the secondary at practice, so he's really taken well to that, and it's kind of taken some of the pressure off of him.
Right.
I think he's actually enjoying that a good bit. If you talk to him, and he's got a bit of lighter feel to it, and so that's been good for him, and that's been good for Keenan as well, to be able to to kind of come into that role. But we've also told Jonathan that, look, you're one play away from having to go back there. So he's still getting his reps at quarterback, and when you run your quarterback like we plan on doing, you never know. You may have to make that swap again anytime.
Right, and from what I understand, he's got pretty good hands
He does.
as well. And so you got two seniors with Dakota out there, and he's kind of grown into a pretty solid, receiver and blocker downfield for you. And also Connor West is coming back and getting a little bit of attention there too. Want to talk about my man Cam here. Obviously, really, I think Cam, not to put you too much on the pedestal, but I think you really had a super season. You came on strong as a sophomore, but last year I think you really started to show what you're capable of. What are you looking forward to on your senior campaign?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to this George County game. I've never got a chance to ring the bell.
Yeah.
So that's a goal of mine. But to be honest, I'm just really excited about my senior season. I don't want to go by too fast. And I just want to sort of soak it in and enjoy it.
Well, good for you. That's a great approach, because it does, when you get our age, or my age particularly, the days go by way too fast. So I'm glad that you're looking at it like that. Tell me about, in your role as H-back, what has been the difference along the offensive line? Do you feel comfortable in the setup that you've got now?
I do on both sides, right tackle and left tackle. We have really good connections.
Right.
We have several plays, where we're blocking together and working together. So I feel really good about that.
Well, what is I've seen you be successful in a lot of things, and I know you like to run the ball hard. I know you enjoy finding those defensive backs that like to get in the way. But I've also seen you on those swing passes where you get a chance to catch those touchdowns. Which play do you prefer? Do you prefer catching the ball or running it?
Well, I really love catching them, but I also love running them too. I love running up the middle. Just running over somebody if I get the chance to. But I also love blocking.
Right.
So I do whatever I'm needed.
Well, tell me this, because it seems to me that getting back to blocking, it seems to me that watching from afar, that y'all take a lot of pride in that. Like, so, if one of your teammates, y'all see somebody doing that downfield, I've seen y'all multiple times give them just as much attention as the guy running the football.
Oh,
So
yeah.
is that kind of how it plays out? Y'all put that much emphasis in it?
We put a lot of emphasis on blocking. If you don't block, how you can't run down the field.
Right.
So we practice on that a lot. Blocking and just different situations and stuff. And we feel really good about that too. So
Good deal. Well, I'm looking forward to possibly ringing that bell again too. That's it's a big rivalry game, and I always enjoy playing George County. We've all got good friends and connections down there, but boy, we like to beat them too. And I know they're going to come up here ready to get after us too. Now, if you would, Coach, talk a little bit about them, because I understand they got some pretty talented players down there, and they always do. But they've got a couple of big names this year. So where do you see them separating?
They have some guys, and they've had guys over the last few years that have been SEC type commits. So they've had a pretty good run here the last several years with guys like that. And so I expect them to be as talented as any team that we've played. I think the difference is their talent is at the skill positions, which they've had before, but I think having the talent at the defensive line position like they've had has made it a long night for us the last couple of years with, in my experience, the 3 years I was here previous, we had to block McKinley Jackson at nose guard for those 3 years, and he took away so much of what we wanted to do offensively in the run game. So without him, I think it's a different George County team. Now they're very talented, and those talented guys are at those skill positions. So, so hopefully, having identified those guys, knowing where they are on the field, and but mainly focusing on ourselves. Not letting the game be bigger than what it is. Right. It's a huge game, but it's not. We want to keep it in the correct perspective. And then not doing anything to hurt ourselves, I think, is the most important thing.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I heard Cam talk about never having the chance to ring the bell, and that's true. We want to beat George County, but we've got some pretty big games coming down the road too that we want to play in, because the ultimate goal obviously is to be back in the playoffs and try to get back to that championship game. And and I think from what I've seen, we've got a chance to have a pretty good football team, and I'm excited about it. Tell me a little bit about the schedule and how that leads into region play.
Okay. We've got some new faces on the schedule this year, non-division, that we're excited about. It's always good every few years to kind of change that up, and kids get an opportunity to travel places they have maybe not been before. But we're actually playing up a decent amount this year, and that's been typical, I guess, with Greene County football, because we've, even since the time Coach Ainsworth was here, we were always playing coast teams, and a lot of times those were 5- and 6A schools. So it's no different now with Hancock playing them next week. They're a 6A school. We put St. Martin on the schedule, another 6A school. So we're excited about playing those guys. We'll play Perry Central in our non-division, a good football team that's right down the road. We hope that we can continue to keep them on the schedule. We think that'd be a great another rivalry game, a good money gate to where we're close enough.
For both schools.
For both schools. Yeah. That's something we should do from year to year. So we're excited about those, and it's always important to continue to evaluate your team. I feel like in those non-division games, you want to win all of them.
Sure.
But we know that every year it's very rare that you start the season with the same 11 kids that you finish, or even go into the division with the same 11 guys you've got starting on offense and defense. So we're still evaluating and still seeing what fits. And I guess the biggest tendency I felt like in coaching over the years is the pressure you feel to be ready now, week 1, week 2. And I've honestly almost given up on the thought that we're going to be in tip-top shape in August, that we're going to have all the kinks worked out, but we will by the time division rolls around, hopefully. We'll have a really good idea of who we are and what our identity is, and that changes from year to year. So.
Well, you're right, and there's no amount of preparation that you can make. Cam knows this. It's just different on Friday night, that first Friday night. It don't matter how hard, many sprints you run and all that, game condition just comes from playing games.
Right.
And so, hopefully we don't have any more hiccups with COVID or different things like that, either here or teams we play, and we can get that schedule in. Who's your favorite team to play outside George County? Who you got your sights on?
I got myself from Stone County. Last year, we didn't have really a good year against them, but the year before that, it was a pretty good game that we played against them. So I think that may be our biggest game in our region, our region play. So I'm looking forward to that.
And once again, that's has the potential, if we stay in that region, it has the potential of being a rivalry as well because of the schools being so close. Well, any other comments before we go?
Just want to say something about this guy. I'd hate for him to come on and me not get to talk about him, but Cam's a great player, but he's a great young man. I think he wants to do things the right way. He's a high character guy. He's a leader on our team. We talked about a lot of the other stuff, the blocking and the catching, and super intelligent, does all that thing, but I'm more proud of the fact that he's a good big brother, and he's a good son to his parents, and he's a good student in the hallways. And so I'm probably more proud of the fact that the way he handles himself, probably more so than anything else. So when we talked about who we were bringing here, Cam was the first guy on the list. So he does everything right, and I appreciate him for that.
Well, and kudos to you, Cam, because I get that same vibe from you, because I'm around you a pretty good bit out here for different reasons, and I appreciate that. We've always been blessed to have some good kids, but you know, a lot of that comes from the leadership they get at home, but a lot of that comes from leadership they get at school, and I know Cam has benefited from having good leadership in both of those situations, but he's responded to it, and like you say, become a solid young man. Well, that's all I've got for this week. Good luck tomorrow night. And guys, if y'all can, come on out and support them tomorrow night.
The mission of Greene County Farm Bureau is to provide you with unmatched customer service and attention. If you're looking for home, auto, or life insurance, you should definitely give Jared Lott or Tyler Bray a call to learn more about the full line of insurance and financial services they have available. It's easy to find out if you're getting the type of coverage you need at the best possible rates. Just drop by and see Jared or Tyler at 812 Main Street in Leakesville, or give them a call at 601-394-2801.
Here's a scenario. Work has sent you cross-country. You drive 2,000 miles, eat something that resembles food, and seal the deal with a room full of strangers. Now you have a big old check, which means you hold in your hands the future of your company. But wait, you have the Singing River Federal app, which means you and thousands of others like you can bank wherever you are. So no more worries, except for whatever you ate. Singing River Federal, the better way to bank, wherever you are.
If you've suffered an injury and are seeking justice for that injury, you don't have to leave town to find a personal injury lawyer. You need to call Joe Beard with Beard & Stewart's Attorneys at Law. Hometown lawyers helping hometown folks. Give Joe a call at 601-394-5900. And remember, go Cats go!